Funding for this series has been provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, this station, and other public television stations.
Good evening. Good evening. We look back on a crowded year, the year 1978. It was a year of fickle fate, a year when mankind got a Polish pope and Jimmy Carter got the Polish interpreter. In California, it was a year of disasters, including brush fires, earthquakes, landslides, and the entire NBC fall season. It was a year when Charlie Chaplin's body was stolen, and the world was shocked that anyone would pillage a man's final resting place. It was also the year when millions stood in line to see King Tut. It was a year when America developed a new deadly weapon, a Ford Pinto with Firestone 500 tires. Driven by Leon Spinks. And finally, it was a year for civic pride, when a small Middle Western town came up with this commercial in praise of itself.
There's a new generation in Cleveland, living a whole new town.
We have assembled two teams of our most resourceful regular contestants for this special edition show, a home team and a home away from home team. On our home side tonight, Mr. Richard Reeves has resolved not to give up smoking a pipe for the new year. Miss Barbara Hauer, who, like Congress, is starting a new session in Washington, but making a lot more sense. And Mr. Jeff Greenfield, who has already written a 1979 book, The National Lampoon Book of Books. Then we have our home away from home side, Miss Linda Blandford, who has analysed 1978 for the British in her American reports to The Guardian. Mr. Peter Stone, who wrote the book for 1776, the screenplay for Who's Been Killing the Great Chefs of Europe, and who bookends them with an Oscar, an Emmy, and a Tony. And Mr. John Weidman, the book writer of Pacific Overtures, who has lampooned 78 in the National Lampoon. In order to give a sense of drama to this whole affair, I shall award points to teams who give correct answers or to teams who are evasive in an inventive, charming, or provocative manner. Those are all the rules, except to say that my decisions will be arbitrary, prejudiced, and final. The first question is a simple one, perhaps the biggest story of the year. When they left Shangri-La, the climate grew colder. Who were they? When they left Shangri-La, the climate grew colder. It was another summer camp romance. Mr. Reeves.
That must refer to Sadat and Begin at Camp David, the President's Shangri-La, which Roosevelt once called Shangri-La, and things haven't gone too well since then.
No, they've left with a framework for peace. Since then, I understand they have encountered slight difficulties. Right. 2 points to Richard Reeves, 2 points to the home side, and here is a party dance immediately. Here is a visual clue. I'd like you to listen carefully. This one involves a strange tongue.
Pero todos compartimos un interés común en lograr que nuestro hemisferio viva en libertad, seguridad y prosperidad.
Now, who was that man? What language was he speaking? Where and on what occasion? Mr. Greenfield's up first.
Well, that was Jimmy Carter.
Right, 1 point.
And after they fired the Polish interpreter, he tried to learn it himself. And consequently, diplomatic relations haven't been the same since.
I think Barbara Hauer has the correct answer.
I think it's the ratification of the Panama Canal treaties where he was...
No.
Competition from this side. I'm not going
No, it was... Well, we can defer to each other and answer. It's
Viva Venezuela.
Viva Venezuela. Was that not Carter addressing the...
No, Barbara Hauer is correct. He was speaking the words in Spanish at the treaty signing ceremonies in Panama. I'd like to play...
Why did you make me feel paranoid?
No,
I thought I was wrong.
They wanted a chance. I'd give equal time, Barbara.
Are you sure he was not trying to communicate with the White House staff?
We have... Just to make sure, we have that clip again, but we want to play it again for the benefit of our Spanish-speaking audiences. Here it comes.
Pero todos compartimos en lograr el resto viva en libertad, seguridad y prosperidad.
Right. And Jeff Greenfield has an observation.
Yes, that speech was drafted by Dr. Peter Bourne, and the translation is, "Where can I score some Panama Red?"
1 extra point, 4 points for the home side, none so far for the home away from home, but here are some numbers which I'm sure they'll be able to identify. I'll give this side the first number all by themselves. 7 3/4 to 11 3/4. Buzz, we're giving it that you can't because the home side have cheatingly buzzed. Yes.
That's what happened to the prime rate in the course of the year.
Exactly correct. This one is open to both sides. The prime rate rise this year. Now, what went up to 248? Miss Hauer?
The price of gold abroad.
Correct. 1 point, Miss Hauer. What went down to 32%? Buzz from Jeff Greenfield?
The percentage of eligible Americans who voted in this year's election.
No, that was 33, in fact. Mr. Stone?
The approval rating of President Carter at his lowest point.
Absolutely correct. 1 point. And now, this one is 44 straight. I want 2 answers, please, neither of them involving Warren Beatty and Diane Keaton.
Say it again.
44 straight. 2 answers to that. Buzz from Greenfield?
The number of writers in San Francisco who are.
Linda, 1 bonus point.
Pete Rose.
Right, you're absolutely right. It was the number of games in Pete Rose's streak. Here he comes hitting, I think, in fact, a visual reminder, Pete Rose hitting in the 38th straight game. This was the moving moment. It was a National League record by the time he'd done 44. There it goes. That's, I think we've had enough of that moving moment. That was 1 point because there is an alternative number where 44 is relevant.
Can Linda name the game?
You know what game he was playing?
American football. Baseball.
44.
I'm so ashamed by her getting the only person here to get the baseball that I trust. I'll try cricket just to be...
No, it wasn't cricket. It was, in fact, chess. It was the number of games in the Karpov-Korchnoi contest. 236 votes. If you can't recall, neither can they. Mr. Stone.
Yes, that was the recall vote. Go ahead, take it. Mayor Kusnich of Cleveland.
Yes, one point jointly earned on that side. They were the number of votes out of 120,000 by which Kucinich avoided recall. And our last one is the number 2. This is a rather tricky one, I'm afraid. Ms. Howard?
It's something to do with the Senate.
No, it involves championship bridge.
There was, championship, no, I realize you're punning now.
Yes,
and
yes, we're punning heavily.
The bridge we're talking about is not the game.
Right.
No, it's the worst bid in the history of competitive bridge when a guy bid 2 and forgot the suit.
I understand bridge no more than baseball.
Oh.
It is, in fact, the number of teeth Leon Spinks bought after becoming the heavyweight king. We have 6 points for the home side, 4 for the away. We were keeping up with the Browns, not to mention the Joneses this year. Do these names ring a bell or a buzzer? All were involved, either with being born or born again. Mrs. Leslie Brown, Sarah Brown, and Edmund Brown. Mr. Reeves first, I think, on the buzzer.
Leslie Brown is either the mother of the test tube baby,
Correct.
Louise Joy Brown.
Right, correct.
Edmund Brown, I know, is the real name of Jerry Brown, as is the name of his father.
And he called himself a born-again tax cutter.
He was born-again tax cutter, and he's going to be coming out of a hole on February 2nd. If he sees his shadow, he'll announce for president.
And so we've got...
You must tell me that...
Sarah Brown.
Sarah Brown?
Sarah Brown.
Who is Sarah Brown?
I don't know. I'm telling you the name. I don't know the answer.
Sarah Brown is the
Will this take off?
nurse who was mendicating to our president when he was temporarily laid up, as they say.
No, that was Fred Brown. Anybody know who Sarah Brown was?
Norman Scott's professional name when he was working as a male model.
No.
Didn't someone named Sarah Brown once try to kill Gerald Ford?
No, Sarah Brown was the fictitious name on the prescription for Quaaludes that brought Dr. Peter Bourne's White House appointment to term.
We should certainly know that.
No look of the year would be complete without a look at Louise Brown, the test tube baby. All say, here she comes.
Here she comes.
Right. Enough of that.
Was that? You're sure they got the right film? Wasn't that Jerry Brown?
No, that. She was in a glass by herself.
Do you?
Mr. Stone.
There was a picture later in the year on Father's Day sending her father a syringe, a necktie. Yes.
Charming thought. 6 for the home side, 4 for the home away. And now a major moment in the year. Thousands of people said, "Qui est?" in response to 3 words. What were the words? Where were they said and when? Qui est? The first word was Carolum, the second was Cardinalum, and the third was Greenfield?
Wojtyła.
Correct. And where was the place?
Oh, Vatican City Square, or whatever they call it, when they announced the name of the new pope, who was the non-Italian, and everybody said, huh?
Right. Or translated Qui est. Exactly.
But can Jeff name the religion?
Baseball.
He gets his 2 points anyway. Taking us to 8 on the home side. 8 on the home side, and I must adjust my vertical hold because everything's running away from me. That's better. Here is a visual clue to a major story of the year. Look at this charming little creature and tell me where the scales were tipped in its favor.
Down in the river in the and the mama says you swim, said the mama says you swim if you can, and you swim right over the
I'm going to give it to the guests.
We're going to do it together.
In 10.
The snail
darter.
Yes.
A 3-inch fish.
Right.
Protected by the Environmental Protection Agency. And its presence in a small stream in Tennessee blocked the continued building of a TVA dam.
Absolutely correct. All available points. 6 to the home away side. Barbara, I think, has an afterthought.
I was going to say it was a $1 million project. I just wanted to get in there if I could.
Oh, it was a $120 million project. In fact,
Shouldn't have gotten in there when I could.
America was undermined because they were out at the seams for 4 months. Who was that?
Yes, you're right here.
Yes.
Right, Linda.
The coal miners.
Refers to the coal miners, and I'd like to give you a musical clue because it's so charming. You've got the right answer, you've got all your points. Let's hear the musical clue and see whether you can identify its significance.
Take this job and shove it. Working here no more.
Right, Jeff Greenfield?
Yeah, that's Johnny Paycheck,
Yes.
whose song, Take This Job and Shove It, was sort of the anthem of the coal miners,
Absolutely correct.
as well
there.
as Dennis Kucinich.
You get two bonus points. Yes,
It was also
John Weidman.
It was also the theme song of Jimmy Carter during that period of time when his popularity rating was down to 32.
To say nothing of Lee Iacocca when Henry Ford.
I think it's
We could go
probably
on,
that's been most people's. To fill you in on the full facts, the 112-day walkout ended when they accepted a 3-year contract after rejecting 2 earlier proposals, causing President Carter to invoke the Taft-Hartley Act, which everyone ignored, saying take the 80-day moratorium and shove it. Right, so that's 10 to the home side, 8 to the home away from home. This year, the president postponed a tremendously important decision involving the protection of real estate. What was it? John Weidman.
Was it the decision as to whether or not to turn most of Alaska into national park?
No, that's not what I'm looking for. Barbara?
Was it the bill that said that you can defer capital gains once in your life on the sale of a house?
No. More important than that, John Weidman?
Panama Canal Zone?
Nope.
What was the question?
The president postponed a
Alaska
tremendously
Canal.
important decision involving real estate. I think I better give you the answer. He postponed production of the neutron bomb. The neutron bomb would destroy exposed people, but leaving houses intact, so if you've just bought a new home, not to worry. From the annals of justice and indeed the arts, who was sentenced to make a documentary film and who was sentenced to give a concert? Barbara?
David Beagleman, the deposed head of Columbia Pictures, was sentenced to make a film.
About?
And, about crime in the streets
No.
or dope or something.
Yeah.
And then there was one of the Keith Richards, the Rolling Stone, who was sentenced by a judge in Canada to play a concert for the deaf.
That's more appropriately. You get your 2 points. Both of them are appealing on the ground of kind and unusual punishments. What do you have to do to go to jail these days? 2 points to the home side at 12. Who said a simple thank you would have sufficed? She was honored for supporting, but he didn't like what she supported.
Vanessa
Howard?
Redgrave when she accepted the Academy Award for Julia, and it was
Patty
Chayefsky who
Right.
said a simple thanks would have done, and I think he could have taken his own advice.
Yes, he attacked her for exploiting the occasion. Exploitation at the Oscar Awards? Heaven forbid. 2 points to Barbara
I didn't even know
Howard.
she was an Indian.
Now here's a visual. Here are 3 visual clues. Take your time on this one from the guest book of the year. Here's the first one. Don't be hasty.
He left it exactly as it was.
That's a motel room. Just let me give you another clue first, but I will give you the first bite at it, John. Here is another clue. What he said there was he left it exactly as it
The thing
was.
that's sticking in my mind always is being able to personally fix a mistake.
And one more, we have one more clue before I let John
Yes,
Weidman
I'll
loose
need
on the
it.
answer,
I'm
because
feeling very foolish.
there's another charming piece of testimony about the same person, a lady witness this time, and here she comes.
He looked older than I expected, really. A lot older.
Yes.
Sort of wrinkly, around his eyes.
Is John Weidman relinquishing to Jeff Greenfield?
Well, I was sure that it was David Berkowitz until that woman spoke at the end. And
No, I
Then you
think
know it was King Tut.
It is,
Jeff Greenfield?
it has the quality of the Howard Hughes,
No.
but that's wrong.
That's absolutely wrong.
How about that?
It's a political figure.
It's political? Then you just saved me.
Is it
It's got
Kucinich?
to be Carter
Coffee.
visiting some
Now, I'm going to
home
tell
and-
you, he, of course, was Richard Nixon, who visited Hayden, Kentucky in July for the dedication, here it comes, of a new recreation center named in his honor.
A motel.
There it is, panning across to the left, the unindicted co-conspirator gymnasium.
I think the people of the country, at least for some time, will know where Hayden, Kentucky is. No longer will we have to say it's near Hazard.
But all he can say is thank you, thank you, thank you. He had a little rubber band on his head, and I used to have it on my car.
Peter Stone has an afterthought.
Do you mean that Nixon still is not making his bed?
Well, I can't. The way that bed looked, then Woodward and Bernstein must have been wrong about Pat and Dick in the final day.
They wanted to make absolutely sure in the motel that nothing would become an historic monument. Nothing was touched there. 14 to the home side, 8 to the away side. Reminder of a few other events during the year. It was a year when the Watergate conspirators paid their last bitter debt to society. Huge income taxes on runaway bestsellers. It was a year when we finally learned how to get into Studio 54, get a warrant. In music, it was a year when Chris Christopherson's beard disappeared and a hair appeared on the head of Elton John, and we wondered if there was a connection. Now, a few quotes. Who said it was an American success story on a small scale? But Richard Reeves.
The Shah of Iran.
He could have done, but he's not the one we're after. He went from long grain to long green.
Billy
Bob.
Saul Estes?
No. Look east, young man.
Mr.
Stone,
Park.
yeah,
Mr.
Stone,
Park.
I think, is in first.
Mr. Park.
Right.
said.
Tongson Park, the star of the Koreagate scandal, who began his career buying rice from South Korea and wound up buying congressmen. Yes, Jeffrey?
No, that's fine.
Good. You're happy with
I
that
was in the
answer?
right shady neighborhood, wasn't I?
Oh, certainly, madam.
You
Certainly.
live in the right shady neighborhood.
But a little old-fashioned, I thought. 2 points. 2 points to Peter Stone, taking the home away to 12. Who said blank should look like an all-American person and not someone superficial that people are afraid to touch? I'll give you some clues. She doesn't want to be put on a pedestal. She fears ERA might lead to a sexless society. John Weidman.
Well, it would be Phyllis Schlafly talking about the American Housewife?
No. Her measurements are conventional. Jeff Greenfield.
Yeah, it's the new Miss America.
Right. Kylene J. Barker, Miss Virginia, who was crowned Miss America. If you run into Kylene, remember, touch her, but don't put her on a pedestal. Here she is. She looks awfully pretty, touching herself there. Jeff has an afterthought.
Yes, that was the talent competition she won. She rubbed makeup off her right eye. Placed first.
And who said everybody must have the right to stand and profess his sexual preference, even if it is with an animal? Everyone must have the right to stand and profess his sexual preference, Barbara, even if it is with an animal.
Was it from the Houston Women's Conference in Texas? Where
No.
they had the platform for
Nor was it Gunter Gable Williams.
Was it Smokey the Bear?
No. Nor Fay Ray, nor Mrs. Ernest Borgnine. It's a surprising choice.
Yeah.
Yes, I know who it is. It's John Wayne.
Nope.
Ah.
Jeff Greenfield?
I'll try Ronald Reagan.
No, the man speaking of the right to come out of the cage as well as the closet was Bob Greene, Anita Bryant's better half, plus 25% as he is also her manager. No points to nobody. Who said, since you came, how many people have you found dead?
That could be a lot this year.
He started off, I wanted to assure you that whatever has been said about violations of so-called human rights doesn't exist here. Peter Stone.
It was a premature statement, I think, by the Reverend Jones.
Nope, not James Jones.
It's the Shah...
Richard Reeves has the right
Shah of
answer.
Amin, that's what I was going to say.
It was Idi Amin of Uganda offering visitors proof positive that there are no skeletons in his closet. 2 points to Richard Reeves.
Of course, he said that at the exit ramp at the airport.
Now, this was said of whom? It's an easy one now, ladies' question. He has no idea about prices. He told me the other day he needed some shirts, and he got out the Sears catalogue to look at them and see how much they cost. Barbara.
I almost don't want to touch this because you have directed it to the ladies to go. But I think it was Rosalind Carter referring to her lesser half.
Yes, it was... She was referring to the fuzzy grasp of consumer economics by the president. No wonder he wants prices controlled. Raises one intriguing question, who goes to the post office for the shirts? I suppose. Anyway, it's two points to Barbara Hauer. One of the big fads of the year we go on to now, a national quest for health, produced a new ailment called athletic pseudonephritis. What is the cause? John Weidman.
Does that have anything to do with running?
It is indeed to do with running.
The pseudonephritis part is the one I'm supposed to explain now.
I'm sure Peter Stone
will
help with the long
nephritis.
word.
It's a...
Jeff Greenfield, Barbara Hauer?
Pseudonephritis is the disease when people think they are Egyptian. It doesn't make any sense at all, does it?
Barbara?
It's a muscle spasm of the calves or fallen arches. I can't remember
Not
which.
quite. Linda?
Please.
No, it's jogger's kidney. Sorry, what you were going to say.
It is a disease whereby the jogger actually thinks it is benefiting his health.
It's an ailment familiar to long-distance runners and increasingly this year to some 25 million sedentary fanatics who hit the road in fancy sweatshirts and $50 sneakers. Another jogger's hazard is jogger's nipple, an irritation caused by a chafing shirt, easily prevented by applying Band-Aids over the breasts. Jogger's horror is the symptom caused by removing the Band-Aid. Speaking of the jogging craze, can you explain for extra points this vivid and unusual demonstration? Here it comes.
This is unbelievable. This is so good. This is just so nice. I love it.
Right, Jeff, I think we can...
More. Great stuff. Great stuff.
Jeff Greenfield has the answer, I think.
Yes, see, after the Pinto was recalled, Henry Ford II... no, that's a machine that... necessity is not the mother of, where this guy invented a machine which can propel you to 30 miles an hour.
20, actually.
If you get the option. But it doesn't really exercise you, it turns out. It defeats the whole purpose of jogging.
John Weidman?
It's also a pseudo-dialysis machine for people suffering from pseudonephritis.
Yes, it has produced its own new complaint, which is jogger's clutch as well.
Actually, at the beginning of that, he was running. In the second half of the film, he was trying to escape from the machine.
I want to remind you of two other great events during the year. It was a year of hope when the Brazilian killer bees reached the northern tip of Colombia, just 500 miles from President Anastasia Somoza. And it was the year of the fan when New York Yankee baseball broadcaster Phil Rizzuto, hearing of the death of Pope Paul VI, said on the air, "Well, that kind of puts a damper even on a Yankee win." Also this year, syndenology was in the news. What is it? Syndenology was in the news. What is it?
I haven't the vaguest idea, but if anybody's willing later.
Well, I think not. There is no later. Wrappings after death are involved.
Oh, it has...
A buzz from Barbara.
Was it the shroud
The
that
Shroud of
had
Turin,
the face
yes.
of...
Syndenology is the study of the shrouds of popular, of gloomy discipline.
What I meant to
Leaving
say.
them to say, I saw Mummy kissing Santa Claus.
They were trying...
That was admiration you heard expressed.
I heard it. Warmth and sympathy, I thought. 2 points to Barbara. The score now, the home side 22, the home away 12. I'm going to address this one simply. This one, simply to the home side. They criticized her walk in the sand. Who was critical and who walked? And here's an oral clue.
I'm walking behind you.
That's all you get. They criticized her walk in the sand. It was a big story in the early part of the year. Who was critical? Who walked? I'll give it to Jeff.
I think the feminists were critical because the Shabanu, Shanana?
Unless you can have Rosalind Shabanu.
Oh, no, she walked behind Jimmy Carter someplace to honor tradition.
Yes, Linda, you're right, Jeff.
She went to Saudi Arabia, where women have to walk
And she followed custom. The Los Angeles chapter of the National Organization for Women was critical of her for doing that. Would you be critical of her, Barbara?
Listen, as long as she gets to go on the trip, I don't care.
It's what's up front that counts, isn't it? Yes. 2 points.
In that
anyway.
country, it's better to have somebody go first.
Here's a visual clue now involving a major political figure.
If the figures a woman quoted were accurate, would say, it would be highly inflationary. And,
If the figures the lady gave, which they actually aren't, it would be highly inflationary. Who was that man, and what was he talking about there? Barbara?
Is it Jimmy Carter referring to something Juanita Krebs?
Not quite Juanita Krebs. You have the right.
You have the right.
Well, you have the right initial of the first name.
J.
It involved a costly defect.
It was the lady Valdez, who apparently the CIA offered to a Russian at the UN to defect, and they said
Yes.
he was getting $40,000 a month, which made her the highest paid call girl in the city.
I'll get the numbers right for everybody, really. The alleged CIA $40,000, which the Soviet defector Arkady Shevchenko paid to a female escort named Judy Chavez for undercover or undercovers work. While adding to the wage price spiral, the Soviet defector took the lady to the Virgin Islands, God knows why. Yes, Barbara.
Did she walk behind him or with him in the Virgin Islands?
The president had no information on that. 2 points, though, to Richard Reeves, 24 to the home side, 14 from the home away from home. This year, what caused the House Minority Whip to say that the Carter administration had gone from great expectations to great expectorations? Buzz from Greenfield.
That was Hamilton Jordan's alleged escapade at a bar, and the real question is, how does anyone with the taste to order amaretto and cream get a job at the White House? I mean, that is the alleged
Good, 2 points.
concoction.
A good question. We'll hope for an answer to be
What
phoned
he
in.
never
Yes, Peter.
explained was that spitting is all you can do with amaretto.
Yes, he allegedly spat a glass of amaretto and cream down the blouse of a young lady who allegedly spurned his advances at a local bistro after he allegedly wrote her a lewd limerick and rubbed her alleged back. 2 points for Jeff Greenfield. And when is Queen Elizabeth not Queen Elizabeth? It's a romantic question. It's a whirlwind courtship, a sandstorm. When? Blanford.
When she's Noor al-Hussein.
Exactly. When she's Queen of Jordan. Her previous name was?
Elizabeth
Halliday.
Halliday.
Splendid. Absolutely right. Five points to Linda Bland.
At least.
You'll all be glad to know that their romance is being made into a movie by Warren Beatty called Here Comes Mrs. Jordan. Another romantic question. 2 sea creatures mated 1,000 miles from the ocean. It was seen as a triumph for the Russians. What was the experiment, John Weidman?
For the Russians.
It was Christina Onassis marrying the Russian.
But we're going to have a conference.
Right.
Yes. It was Christina Onassis marrying Sergei Kaltsov.
Who had previously been a Soviet Marine official.
Yes.
Very good. 3 points for getting that one right. 22, 26, and May and December were divorced in January because she bugged him, Miss Blandford.
The Wallaces?
Yes,
Bugged
yes.
after 7 years. I mean, no, divorced after 7 years of marriage.
Yes, and bugged quite soon into the marriage, I think. So
Yes, she,
$75,000.
apparently George's bedroom was bugged.
And his grits.
2 points to the visitors, 24, not the visitors, the home away, 24 to 26. Now here is a visual clue. Here is a visual clue to some umbrage in the news. Here it comes.
It seems that cranapple juice that he's drinking has not only may have helped his kidneys, but it sure played hell with his mind.
Who is that man, and who does he dislike so much? Richard, you certainly know the answer to that.
Teddy Kennedy must be who he dislikes.
No. It's a
Yeah.
cutting remark by a silent partner in a revolting situation. Barbara, Blandford.
Would it be the partner of Howard Jarvis?
Yes, it would. That was Paul Gann. 2 points. Talking about Howard Jarvis. We give right of reply. Here is what Mr. Jarvis, in the same generous spirit, had to say recently about Mr. Gann.
Let us blast him. I don't give a damn. Gann is trying to promote something to make money for Gann.
Ooh. 2 points to Linda Blandford.
That was Howard Jarvis in response to a statement by Gans about cranapple.
1 point to Barbara Howard. I'd like to remind you of 3 other things that happened this year. It was a year when Larry Flint was born again and the president's granddaughter Sarah Carter was born for the first time. It was a year when things were picking up, especially for dog owners. And it was a year when Secretary of State Vance finally turned into a recorded announcement. Now, a question. It has 60 legs, a tremendous organ, and a line around the block and was threatened with extinction. What is it?
The Radio City Music Hall. Those were the Rockettes.
Correct. 2 points. 2 points. Now an obscure question. According to a Harvard academic, every American does it 200 times a day except President Carter. It's hard to believe.
Smiles.
No, I know what it was.
Yes.
Mrs. Bach wrote it in her book.
You're correct.
It is, B.O.K. is her name.
Yes.
It is lie.
Exactly. Lying. Americans apparently prevaricate an average of 200 times a day. I can understand that neither Linda nor I would really follow this. You have to include little white lies such as I gave at the office, I got a headache, the check's in the mail, I love you, we do it all for you, I never lie to you, and I am not a crook. Any other native suggestions? Barbara has a thought.
It's called "This is going to be an obscure question."
I didn't find it. I didn't find it very obscure. I found
we all knew it, as a matter of fact.
Yes. Anyway,
Well,
Jeff,
if you want another example,
I'd love another example from Jeff.
he's in conference.
Yes.
He just stepped out.
Checks in the mail.
Yeah, he did that one. If you don't do it, I'll go crazy.
Right. Yeah, that's the one we hear most often, isn't it? Right, so two bonus points for Jeff Greenfield.
And if you do it, you'll go blind.
3 points for Richard Reeves. Who said and when, I never seen the team get dressed so fast? Jeff Greenfield.
Yeah, that was when women were admitted to the Yankee locker room, and I guess it was said by the manager or one of the coaches.
Gary Thomason, in fact. I think you earned your 2 points. We, on This Week, if you remember, also took notice of the fact that a Brooklyn judge ordered the women be admitted to the dressing rooms of the Gil Hodges Little League, presumably on the basis that the players had little to hide. 2 points to Jeff Greenfield, and here is a visual clue to something very much in the news this year. Afterwards, please wait for the question, having seen the visual, which you will see now. Right, the question is, why did that building come down, and why may that demolition have been futile? Barbara first.
It is, I think, the Chalfont Haddon Hall in Atlantic City, an old hotel on the boardwalk.
The Blenheim, in fact.
The Blenheim that had been, well, I know a lot of hotels, that they had...
In Atlantic City, yes.
I was a secretary once, where they tore the hotel down to make room for a casino that may or may not be
May or may not.
Because the
Ooh.
I think Jeff's in
Well, the
mid-sentence.
Attorney General doesn't want Resorts International to get a license to build that casino because they've associated with people who tend to carry baseball bats and aim at needs.
And exactly. And if they take a strong line, Atlantic City will probably see a site very much like this. To your screens again. No question this time, just a charming visual. Right, easy go, easy come. Now we have a mystery voice now. Here is a live performance by one of the year's recording debutantes. I want to know if you can identify the singer, his nationality, and any other claim to fame. He's coming up on your screens now.
He's British.
There's something about you that's magic, something in your eyes. I can see it so easily, where you tantalize. Only yesterday you gave me your word, gave me reasons for living. You gave me love, you gave me the time. I can't get you out of my mind. There's something about you that's magic, something in your smile. I give you my invitation. Won't you stay for a while?
Barbara would like to go first.
I think that's Roddy Llewellyn, who
That
is
is
the
indeed.
gentleman friend of Princess Margaret,
Good
making his
heavens.
singing debut.
He made his gramophone recording debut. He's the frequent escort of Princess Margaret, and
Good
perhaps the reason why
heavens.
she's looking so much happier at the end of the year than she did at the beginning. Would anybody like to? Give a
No.
jukebox jury a sort of verdict on the
I
record?
think it has a good beat, and you could dance to it if one of your legs was shot off. I give it a 65.
I found the
That's the first.
I found the background lacking, but I see a rapid rise on the charts up to about 160.
Barbara.
I'll tell you what I think, because I've read so much in the National Enquirer and the Star that he doesn't look nearly like the jerk there that they portrayed him in the press. He looks pretty
No,
talented.
he's awfully nice, and he's up there, and he can probably tell us whether or not the record's going to be released here. Is it, Roddy?
Yes, in time, I hope.
Good. Who's the label going to be? That's what it's called.
It's under phonogram.
Thank you very
Philip's
much.
Phonogram.
Thank you very much for coming over, and thank you very much for singing for us.
My pleasure.
I'm going to give 2 points to each side.
It won't be Royal Gramophone.
I'm real sorry. I didn't know he's upstairs.
You'll meet him afterwards, darling.
He's on his way down, Barbara.
What highly publicized expedition started in 1978 and will take 22 years to complete?
It's a space mission, a flight to one of those wonderful favorite planets of ours, which I'm trying to figure out, which is probably Jupiter.
No, I'll give you some verbal clues. It'll move as rapidly as possible while staying in the same place. Every fourth person will join it. The original one ended in Yan'an. Jeff Greenfield.
You're talking about a long march,
Yeah.
huh? And it will take 22 years to modernize China.
Right, and the probable result, the emergence of a new major power and 22 billion tired feet.
Right.
2 points to Jeff Greenfield. 40 to the home side, 32 to the home away. Who said this year, I was born in the house that my father built? Barbara.
Richard Nixon. It was the beginning of his biography, his book, and his first line was, I was born in the house my father built.
And it was one of the few points in the book which hasn't been contradicted by Peter Stone.
Actually, the correct quote was, I broke into the house.
I couldn't find it in my copy. There were 18 pages missing. If you would get your envelopes, ladies and gentlemen, people at home will see on the screen some pictures. Try and keep them in the same order. There are a few faces in the news this week. Can you identify them? And can you say in a phrase or two why they were in the news? Now, the first one is a man's face, and I get a ring from Peter Stone first.
That's Mr. Baki, who was admitted to the medical school.
Right. The second one on the screens, please. I want to make sure that people are seeing them at home at the same time. Yes, there it goes. The second one. Anybody want to? Richard Reeves, I
A
don't.
gentleman who thinks he's James Bond, who took over an island someplace. He's a French soldier of fortune. Name is Conet.
Nope. Anybody else know? There's a buzz. I can't.
I know who it is. It's the Sangria. The Sangristas?
Sandinista. It's
Sandinistas.
Colonel Zero.
This was number one. He was called number one, and he was the leader of the band of people who took the entire Nicaraguan assembly prisoner.
We go on to the...
I'm good on berets, but I've got too many answers.
1 point. With Jeff Greenfield is going on to the third one as it comes up onto the screens.
Yes.
Coming up onto the screen now.
Yes. That is Jimmy Carter's doctor with a unique cure for his recent ailment.
One point, but Peter Stone has the right answer, I
Yes,
think.
it's quite obvious who it is. It's the first man to burrow through the earth, and that's the way he came out at the other end.
Or John Weidman might have the correct answer. 1 point.
Is it Victor Korchnoi, one of the two chess players?
It is indeed Victor Korchnoi standing on his head. Now we stick up another one. We have a young woman here. Who is she? We got everybody's buzzing.
That's Pam Shriver.
And Peter Stone had it too, so 1 point each. The youngest player at 16 to make the finals of the American National Championships. The fifth one.
René Lévesque.
That is René Lévesque.
I thought it was John Wayne. Look.
I was hoping to give the clue, qui est ce man? Il est very important au Canada. But you got it anyway. Who is this next one? It's a lady again, and we've got an answer from John Weidman.
It's a Christine Crawford who let her mother have it after the fact.
And talking of monsters, here's the last one.
It's Joan Crawford.
No, that's
It's
Gonzo.
Exactly.
It's
Jeff
Gonzo.
Greenfield.
I love it.
1 point for our especially for our younger viewers. That takes us to another question with another visual clue. Thousands had reservations, so there were no flights. It was nipped in the bud. You have the answer already? Here it comes. There's the visual clue. You shall have first try afterwards.
Yes,
There's no sound on this film, and Linda had a very enthusiastic go straight away.
Yes, I
Thousands
was
had reservations, so there were no flights. It was nipped in the bud. Do you still know the answer?
No.
I do, yeah.
Barbara Howard, I think.
Was it the Japanese, the new airport, the opening of it, and they had civil disorder and they could not take off?
Yes, the protests about the new Japanese airport. Farmers were angry over expropriation of their lands. The cause was taken up by environmentalists and then by radicals eager to shake the government. 2 points to Barbara. O tempora, o mores. On which Sunday in 1978 did President Carter not go to church? Barbara?
The Sunday that the Camp David Accord was meant to have been ratified would have been the December 19th?
No, he nipped in and did it quickly that morning. Barbara, Mr. Stone?
It was National Not Go to Church Week.
No. I give you a clue. It wasn't Sunday.
Ah.
Well, say it again.
I think Jeff's got it
See,
already.
this is one of those clever puns that make the British what they are. It was the day to celebrate solar energy, and Jimmy Carter went around the country in the pouring rain.
That's right. Yes, he went to Colorado, in fact, to give a speech.
To see Robert Redford.
He started to give his address, and it rained. To Democrats, it was proof that we still need oil. To Republicans, it was proof of the existence of God. Now, here are some strong words. About whom were these uttered? His alcohol tolerance is low, and he becomes affected quickly.
Prime Minister of Australia.
What an Australia watcher
we were
have
old
here.
drinking buddies. Prime Minister of Australia.
4 points for drinking with the Prime Minister of Australia. This was from a book by a former Liberal Party colleague called Don Chipp. He went on to say, this brings out his sense of humour, which normally takes the form of stuffing pickled onions and ice cubes into other people's pockets.
I have two. I still have two in my pocket right now.
On the first anniversary of his death, there were no services at home. Why?
Oops. Elvis Presley.
Yes, correct.
There were no services at home because the police and the fire department were on strike and everything was shut down in Memphis.
Right.
Bravo.
Absolutely right. And in the 16 months since his death, the Elvis estate has grossed some $5 million. Who says there's no life after death? Now, because of a blow-up, the plan succeeded. What plan? There's a rival due, and here is a beautiful visual clue.
it together? Can you do it all together?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. It's the balloon that crossed the Atlantic for the first time.
The Eagle 2.
Yes.
Yes, but what I would like to know is the names of the gentlemen who flew in it. I mean, that's quite obvious what it was.
Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego.
They were called Ben Abruzzo, Max Anderson, and Larry Newman from Albuquerque, New Mexico. They were in a helium balloon. They flew from the state of Maine, beating the English, who had gallantly tried to do it just beforehand. It was the first transatlantic crossing by a lighter-than-air craft, with the possible exception of Truman Capote. Now, a fly-by-night was in the news. He tapped a new market and was tapped in return. Jeff Greenfield?
Freddie Laker.
Yes, picture on the screen, please.
Picture coming up. Freddie Laker, there he is, was knighted by the Queen for inaugurating this new very low-cost flight, SkyTrain.
The no-frills flight, yes, exactly. It was a simple no-frills ceremony at the palace. He was told to arrive at Buckingham Palace at 3 in the morning with his lunch and wait. And if the Queen had time, she said that she would knight him. That's your 2 points anyway, Geoffrey. Now, do these words ring a bell? Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. Richard Reeves?
Leon Spinks didn't say that.
No.
No.
Peter Stone?
It has to do with the, the people preparing for the Olympics, is it the decathlon?
It is a sporting question.
Yes. I recognize that from the word champion. You see how quick I can be.
He's a retiring fellow.
Ali?
Yes, it was Muhammad Ali. 2 points, Linda. That was, according to Ali, was his... That was his exhortation to himself as he prepared for the second Spinks fight, training as hard as he didn't train for the first one. He made his 36-year-old body do 8,000 sit-ups and gave his mouth a well-deserved rest, and he won the crown for the 3rd time. He has again announced that he might retire, which is to say that he hasn't chosen his next opponent yet. It involved... Sorry? Somebody asked a question?
And he has teeth.
Indeed he has teeth, without false ones, I imagine. 2 points to Linda Blandford. Can't see the score, never mind, we'll get it in one moment. 50 home, 45 away. It involved 2 ex-kings, a Grand Duke, the Aga Khan, Cary Grant, David Niven, and Frank Sinatra, among others. What was it, Miss Blandford?
It was a wedding.
Yeah. Which wedding?
Caroline of Philippe Junot.
Exactly correct. Among her gifts, 42 foot...
We're very strong on romance on this
Yes,
side.
well, we're very loving. We're very loving.
You have your 2 points. Among her gifts, rather nicely, was a 42-foot catamaran, which isn't bad for a princess from a 32-foot principality. Now, an Oryctologus caniculus passed to his reward on Easter Sunday and thereby hangs a tale. What tale? He was hopping mad because...
No, please.
I don't know, Peter.
It was an animal that died on a Sunday.
Hey.
Now, don't come on, gang. We have the attention of the chair.
Sherlock Holmes we have here,
Let's
yes.
share who died on a
Animal
Sunday.
died on Sunday.
And yes, I know several that died on Tuesday. Now, wait just a moment.
I think we've got a right answer coming over here. Barbara.
Is it the Volkswagen?
Well, it's spiritually a Volkswagen, but it's not the Volkswagen. It's Harvey the Attack Rabbit, the biting bunny used by the ASPCA in their campaign against animal abuse. Here he comes on your screens. He died on Easter Sunday, went to the great egg hunt in the sky. The rebellious rabbit got rabid because he'd been mistreated by his former owners, surviving several relatives and Barbie Benton. Now we have a couple of charming revivals, 2 important moments from our own series, which we'd like you to see again, lest you forget. It was a year when nations were doing what they do best. Japan was exporting everything but Mount Fuji, the Swiss were banking, the Americans were playing professional football, and the British were burying a piano at sea with full military honors. Here it comes. And now, fire! And as we remarked previously on seeing that film, Prime Minister Brezhnev announced that the Russians had tested a piano 10 years ago. there was a second important moment of musical and moving celluloid. What about the Arabs? They were doing what they do best. They were raising the price of oil, and were they enjoying it? Right, it was enough of nostalgia. Here's another question. It was a case of breaking and entering. Still the reports were glowing. Who was the perpetrator? It involved a red star. Jeff?
Just the Venus probe?
No.
Oh.
Several parts, big and small, and a comeback. Jeff, Rich Reeves.
Deng Xiaoping.
Nope.
I've forgotten the beginning of the question
It
now.
was a case of breaking and entering. Still the reports were glowing. Who was the perpetrator?
It's something to do with the theater.
No, it's something to do
with the
heavens. You were nearer it with your Venus probe.
Ah.
Coming back from the heavens.
Skylab.
Not quite Skylab. Cosmos 954, the Russian
But
spy
they fall in
satellite.
Canada. And Skylab may fall in Canada, too.
Well, indeed it may. Best wishes to all our Canadian viewers. In fact, Cosmos 954, Russian spy satellite with a nuclear reactor aboard, fell from orbit, broke into many parts, and hit the Earth in northern Canada, where it scattered radioactive debris. While no one was reported to be injured, several Eskimos converted to Christianity. Here is another visual clue involving a battered figure in the headlines. Here he comes.
I did it. I'll stand by it. And I'm willing to serve my sentence for it. That's all I have to say.
Right, Peter Stone went in the middle there.
Evel Knievel walked into Fox Film Studios and battered a writer who had written something with a baseball bat while another man held the writer, which proves it takes two he-men to beat up one writer. And he went to jail for it.
Yes, he is indeed Evel Knievel, entering a Californian prison. He hit a press agent with his baseball bat, which is a felony elsewhere but a misdemeanor in California. One more here. What audience-sponsored broadcasting network did not show Julia Child, Crockett's Victory Garden, Masterpiece Theatre, or We Interrupt This Week, but their flagship station did show Father Knows Best? Here's a visual clue.
Finding the Lord, and they're reporting answers to prayer and whatever God's doing. You got some others.
Yes, sir. Here's a lady from York, Pennsylvania, who was visiting our studio audience recently, and while she was here, there was a word of knowledge doing prayer, and he said there was arthritic like pain in her neck. Pat said the word of knowledge, the woman was being healed of arthritis. Immediately the pain left right there in our studio.
Let's give the Lord.
Oh, sorry.
Right, can anybody identify that station?
Yes.
Well, the man, I've seen the man on television. It's a religious...
It's the evangelist station.
No, yes.
Network.
You're going to get a point for that. Perhaps we could be more specific.
It's PTL. It's a 700 Club. Praise the Lord. It's a very powerful, very well-financed network where they take Ben Casey one step further and actually cure people, and it's a very religious thing.
You're bang on. There's a sense of being on the right track here, worth 1 point. 3 points over there for being even nearer on the track. It is the Christian Broadcasting Network, which spent about 20 million last year sending gospel programs to 130 stations coast to coast from its center in Virginia Beach, Virginia. That was, as you said, a moment from their variety show, the 700 Club. The network, which survives on viewer contributions, was part of the religious television boom in 1978. As I say unto you, verily, there is no business like show business. Now, one final question before we go on to predictions for the next year. What happened because there was too much bunting in the ballpark? Quote, one of them is a born liar, the other is convicted.
Great question, Ned.
Jeff Greenfield, well, give us a great answer, Jeff.
Okay, Ned. Indira Gandhi. No. Reggie Jackson bunted repeatedly, attempted to bunt when he wasn't supposed to. Billy Martin raged at him. Billy Martin got drunk. Billy Martin allegedly had something to drink, called him, Jackson and Steinbrenner, bad names. He resigned. That's what happened. No, that's right.
I can give you a supplementary one here. See whether we can get this. A rear guard action. You get your 2 points, absolutely.
Actually, he refused to bunt was what happened, and that's what got him into trouble.
Anyway, Jeffrey knows everything there is to be known about baseball, and I would not advise you to tangle with him.
Right. Thank you, Nick.
A rear guard action ended the largest tank battle since World War II. Who won and who lost?
Was that Billy Salestis again with the tanks of non-existent?
Say it again. I didn't know you were asking.
A rearguard action ended the largest tank battle since World War II. Who won and who lost?
Oh, gasoline tanks on automobiles. Is that it?
Yes, the Ford Motor Company announced that it would modify fuel systems in 1.5 million Pintos to increase resistance to leakage and the hazard of fire. This action came after months of Ford's vigorous defense of the fuel systems. The Pinto's rear end was the problem. She got a raise. Her sister got a split. Can you name the ladies in question, Miss
Queen
Blanford?
Elizabeth and Princess Margaret?
Yes, Princess Margaret was divorced. Queen Elizabeth got a raise. 2 points. Home away 56, home 53. And now, what national symbol faced a hairy fate and what was done about it?
My turn? As a
Yes.
bald eagle was almost extinct, and they are taking very good care of it. Getting it hairpiece.
Yes, and more from Linda. Yes, 2
Declared
points.
an endangered species in 47 states?
Yes, it was indeed. Yes, I'll give you your 2 points for Barbara, 1 point for Linda for amplifying it, and we go on to predictions now. We have a new year ahead of us. We have some prepared Let's start that whole sentence again. We have some prepared predictions. I like personally the prediction that Leon Spinks will lose his driver's license and walk into a telephone pole. Richard Reeves, do you have a prediction for us?
Only a hope. My prediction is that Rosalind Carter will run off with a Rolling Stone to the south of France and begin making movies in Montreal.
Barbara Howard?
Well, I have a more serious prediction. I believe that even with the trouble the economy's in, that this is going to be a very good year for the country and that we all not need worry as much as...
Jeff Greenfield?
I think that China will open another door to the West by inviting a famous London delicacy shop to open in Peking to be called the Gang of Fortnum and Mason.
John Weidman?
Jimmy Carter, late next year, will appoint both Jerry Brown and Ted Kennedy co-ambassadors to Kathmandu for life.
And Peter Stone?
I predict that We Interrupt this week will be picked up by one of the great commercial networks, and that it will be, the home team will consist probably of Charles Nelson Riley, Loretta Swit, and Jeff Greenfield.
We like to thought that Beverly Hills might become one of the United Arab Emirates, and that perhaps the President Carter will be defeated on health assurance, but that he will take it standing up. I'm going to award, in fact, 2 points to the home side, none to the home away side on that, because I would hate the contest to end in anything other than a draw. I shall award prizes of a complete physical examination by Dr. X with a prescription by Dr. Peter Bourne to the home away side. I shall award to the home side a screen test for your daughters with Roman Polanski. Any of you who played the game at home and feel that you did better than the teams here, you may accept a collapsible framework for peace. Good night, and thank you.
Funding for this series has been provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.